welcome back to the morning show. We're still focusing on the protest, the commemoration of the second anniversary of the Lekki Tollgate shooting. And there you can see Falz there. Tokumbo Yutuji, can you hear us from the studio here so that we can listen to Mr. Folarin?
Such a shabby attempt to erase the legacy of some of the bravest people that we have ever seen in this country.
The panel set up by the Lagos State government confirmed it and made some recommendations. Yes. By justice, you mean the government should implement some of those recommendations?
Even implementation of those recommendations, they've barely done anything. They've barely done anything. Implementation of those recommendations, everything, there's traffic everywhere, there's hold up. They don't want to do anything. They never wanted to do anything from the first day. So that's why we're here, because we can never ever allow them to erase the legacy of these people. These are the people that laid down their lives for us, October 20, 2020.
It was the same clamor last year, justice, justice. This year we're here, justice, justice. Hope we're not going to be here next year demanding for the same justice. If that doesn't come, what other options are open to you?
I think it's important that the Nigerian youth also focus on the next elections, to be able to usher in a new set of people serious about justice, people serious about the rule of law, people serious about respecting what the people want, people serious about respecting human rights of the people. That's another thing that we can focus on. But aside that, we have to continue to clamor for justice and continue to memorialize the ones that laid down their lives for us.
So we're seeing you walking through this spot. After here, what next for the day?
No, it's just a memorial. We just came here to memorialize them. You know, we're waving our flags. We have some people, they're carrying those coffins. Those coffins are very symbolic. There's a meaning to it. You know, and after this, we're all just going to go back home. You know, we don't aim to cause trouble. We're trying as much as possible not to even cause traffic. You know, staying on the side of the road. We don't want to disrupt anything. You know, we just want to remember the people that laid down their lives for us, and that's it.
Thank you, Falz, the bad guy, for talking to us. One of the leaders of the ENDSARS protest then in 2020, and they are here again today, just like they were last year, demanding for justice for some of their comrades who were killed during the invasion of this spot by agents of the state, the military men who shot at the unarmed protesters, waving their flags and singing the national anthem and injuring some people in the process. So, like they promised, apart from the momentary stop at that spot, they are moving past the toll gates, and like Falano has told us, they are just going to go home, you know, when they are done with this procession on this axis today.
Tokumbo Yutuji now is interviewing Debo Adedayo, popularly known as Mr. Macaroni.
We can never forget. The fallen heroes must know that they did not die in vain, that people are still out here remembering all that happened, and will continue to demand justice.
We will continue.
So, I mean, like I said earlier, the governor himself set up a judicial panel. The panel came out with the findings, and the government made some recommendations. Still now, the government has not met those recommendations. You know, so it makes us begin to wonder, what side are you on? Are you on the side of the truth, or are you on the side that favors you? So if you say you set up a judicial panel yourself, until now you have not met those recommendations. Recommendations such as giving justice to every victim, compensating the family. You know, there's also one that says this place must be named a Lekki Memorial Plaza as against the Tollgate. You understand? So a lot of these recommendations. So what we are simply saying is the government should show us that they are indeed for the people. We are not fighting the government. Yes. It's not a war. We are simply saying we want better, we deserve better, and we want you to fulfill your own promises.
Yes. You made this same demand last year. Yes. Till now, we're still here. We're making the demand again.
Yes.
Hope we're not going to be here next year making the same demand. Like I asked one of your other colleagues, Falz, what is going to be the other option if this chance does not give you the justice that you're clamoring for?
Well, we should throw this question to the government. You understand? For how long should we continue to do this? A government should be a government to serve the people,
yes.
to protect the people,
Yes.
not a government that will say, oh, come today, go tomorrow.
Yes.
So we should be asking the government who will be here next year. We should be asking them, are you going to fulfill the promises?
Yes.
So the question, this is a call of action to the government, to the state government, to the federal government. Please do right by Nigerian youths.
Yes. That's what we want.
Last year, when you were embarking on this same procession,
Yes.
videos, pictures of you being manhandled by the security operatives,
Yes.
were all over the internet. Went viral.
Yes.
Today, we've not seen anything like that. What does that say about the conduct of the personnel and the conduct of you, the protesters itself?
Our conduct has remained the same. We have been the most consistent. The Nigerian youths have been the most consistent over 2 years in this struggle. We have not fought anyone. We did not employ violence. The police did. The government did. They came with violence. We were not violent. Even through it all, the brutality, through the oppression that we face, we remain consistent. But of course, it won't be the same for them this year. They won't touch anybody. Why? It's election. So it's election season. They are looking for votes. That's to show you how deceitful government can be sometimes.
Yes.
So they need to realize that at the end of the day, this fight is for the Nigerian people. Everyone, we're all Nigerians. We're Nigerian first. Yes. Before becoming a police officer, you are first a Nigerian.
Yes.
Before becoming a governor, a president, you are first a Nigerian.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, if Nigeria is good for everyone, we will have a peaceful country.
Yes.
That's what we want.
But you leaders of the protesters here are equally promising today that your members are going to conduct themselves in a very orderly manner.
Like I said, we, the Nigerian youths, the protesters, the people have remained consistent. We have never been violent. We do not disrespect the police officers. We do not disrespect anyone. All we do is march. We just walk. You understand? So of course, even when they touch us, even when they beat us, we don't do anything. So trust me, our conduct remains the same. We are peaceful.
Thank you, Mr. Macaroni, for talking to us on this live telecast of the procession here at the Lekki Tollgate.
In a worse state. I don't think there has ever been a time that is more important that everybody, if you have your PVC, if you've registered to vote, goes ahead to do that, because at the end of the day, it's the people who are in power that make these kinds of decisions.
Okay, so let me take you back on what I asked you earlier about people not staying on the spot, people moving around. Is that part of the agreement?
There's no agreement, but we just thought since it's a walk, it's a procession, it's easier for people to get engaged, it's easier for people to move around if we're walking. And we're walking through the toll gate where everything happened that day. That's really all it is. Nobody wants to gather, nobody's trying to cause trouble. You can see that cars are not being stopped. Again, we're here to remember, we're here to remind people, and that's all.
So what's your assessment of the conduct of the security operatives on ground this morning?
They have been fine. There's nothing really they can do at this point. We're in an election, everybody's watching how they behave at the end of the day. But also, again, nobody's causing trouble here. Everybody's walking, everybody's carrying their flags, everybody's waving flags, people are carrying coffins, and everyone is moving along. Nobody has stopped traffic, so there's no trouble for them to do anything about.
There have been denials upon denials that nobody actually died 2 years ago at Lekki Tollgate or elsewhere in Nigeria during the protest. What's your reaction to that?
People died. I mean, we saw snippets of videos. I was on the teams that were calling ambulances. People died, people were shot, people are hurt. They're currently still amputees. There are people that are still getting treatment for the bullets that are in them. People died. This is not the first time that a government has denied that people died through its involvement. So that's nothing new to us. But all of us know what we saw, and that's it.
So what do you think is the idea behind these multiple denials?
The idea is exactly that, is to absolve responsibility. So no justice has been found for the people who died, no justice has been found for the people who were hurt, and no responsibility has been taken for how a peaceful protest turned into what it became at the end of the day. And so the point of denying is you can't acknowledge something and not take responsibility for it. If they acknowledge it, then somebody has to be held responsible. So the only option they have is to try to deny what we all, collectively experience together.
Would you say people are still aggrieved 2 years after the protest?
I would say people are even more aggrieved because if you look at the situation in the country now, look at our exchange rate, look at the floods that are happening, all over the country. At the end of the day, all of these things are signs of when you have people in charge that do not really value the lives of the people that they are in service of. That is what is happening. Everywhere is flooding. What has the government done? There are different issues, but it's the same outcome where at the end of the day, it's like you're on your own as a Nigerian.
At some point during the protest, the protesters came up with 5-point demands to the government. Would you say that these have been achieved, particularly when it comes to, brutality of the police, on the citizens?
I think it went down briefly after the protest, and I think it's coming back up again. Again, once you don't have reform in police, how is it supposed to change? So everybody was upset, everybody was watching them, and their activity stopped. And now, it's coming back. And also, we have an election season coming up where there has notoriously been violence in and around Lagos from police, from other operatives of the government. And so those are the kinds of things you are watching to see. But fundamentally, you cannot just change the name of a unit and expect that their conduct will change. It doesn't work. It's just a solution.
Okay, live report there from the Lekki Tollgate in Lagos. Obafemi Adeoye, Arise News correspondent, talking just now to Feyikemi Abudu, popularly known as FK Abudu, of the Feminist Coalition, which played a major role in the, the October 2020 ENDSARS protest. And then before then, we had Tokumbo Oyetunji, also a Arise News correspondent, talking to Folarin Falano, popularly known as Falz, and also Adebo Ali Adebayo, popularly known as Mr. Macaroni, right there in Lekki. So we now come back to the studio. I see that Omoyele Showore is also there. Once either Tokumbo Oyetunji or Obafemi Adeoye, once one of them is able to get a conversation with him, we'll go back to the Lekki Tollgate.